Most people are unknowingly trading their entire financial future for a badge of status that depreciates every single mile they drive.
Imagine two coworkers, Marcus and Sarah, entering the same corporate plaza at 8:40 a.m. Marcus steers a gleaming, graphite-colored Porsche Cayenne he signed for 3 months ago.
That lease sucks away $950 every month, locked in for 3 years.
He snags a spot right by the glass lobby, ensuring his coworkers observe the logo while they sip their morning lattes.
Marcus manages digital accounts, earning $8,000 annually. To him, that SUV isn't a tool. It's a high-interest mask worn to project a success he hasn't actually earned.
Meanwhile, Sarah pulls into the furthest corner of the lot at 8:15 a.m. Her vehicle is a silver 2019 Honda Accord she secured for $19,000 in cash 5 years back.
There's a tiny scratch on the door handle she ignores, as it has zero impact on the engine's reliability.
Sarah leads the logistics department, pulling in $105,000 a year. Here is the reality check. Marcus has a net worth of $12,000.
Between those hefty car payments, revolving credit debt, and a tiny retirement fund he barely touches, he is one paycheck away from a crisis.
Sarah's net worth sits at $2 million. Marcus appears wealthy, but Sarah is wealthy. They share an office building and similar salaries, yet their financial destinies are miles apart.
That massive divide started with the metal sitting in their driveways. One chased a temporary image, the other prioritized permanent growth.
This breakdown explores why the truly affluent almost always drive vehicles that would shock you.
It isn't because they are cheap. It's because their relationship with capital is fundamentally different from the consumerist narrative we've been sold.
Real wealth stays hidden in the garage to grow in the market.
Data from massive surveys of American millionaires shows the median price they paid for their latest car was roughly $35,000.
For those with 10 million or more, that number only creeps up to 45,000. Let's look at the broader context.
The typical new car price in the U.S. has surged past $50,000. This means the average citizen is spending more on their transportation than the average millionaire.
A recent study found that over 60% of households earning above $250,000 a year are driving Toyotas, Hondas, or Ford. These families could easily buy a fleet of Italian supercars, yet they choose a Civic or an F-150. Only a minority of high earners opt for luxury status symbols.
The most common brands among the wealthy, Toyota is number 1, followed by Honda and Ford. German luxury brands don't even break the top 3. Furthermore, only a small fraction of millionaires drive a car from the current year. Most own vehicles that are at least 3 years old with significant mileage.
These individuals understand a truth that modern culture tries to hide. Cars are the most aggressive wealth destroyers in your budget.
Unlike a home, which generally appreciates, a vehicle's value vanishes the moment you grab the keys.
In the first 12 months, you lose 20%. By the 5th year, 60% of that money is gone.
Yet the average car payment has climbed to nearly $800. 7-year loan terms are now the standard.
People are staying underwater, for years owing more on the loan than the car is actually worth. They are pouring fuel into a bonfire instead of an investment account.
Let's break down the math, because the numbers are staggering. Marcus leases his Porsche for $950 a month.
Over 3 years, he burns $34,000 and ends up with zero equity. Because he fears the social downgrade, he'll just sign another lease.
If he does this for 30 years, he'll spend nearly $350,000 on cars he never owns.
Sarah bought her Accord for $19,000. She keeps it for 9 years. Her total cost, including maintenance and insurance, averages out to about $300 a month.
When it hits 100,000 miles, she sells it for $8,000 and buys another reliable used model. The monthly gap between Marcus and Sarah is $650. If Sarah invests that monthly difference at an 8% return over 30 years, that car gap
grows to over $900,000, nearly $1 million. That isn't a guess. It's the mathematical result of choosing a $300 cost over $1,000 one.
It is the difference between a stressed retirement and total freedom. Sarah's $1 million net worth didn't come from a lottery win or a lucky stock pick.
Most millionaires are self-made. They build wealth in the space between their income and their expenses.
The car is where they guard that space most fiercely. In fact, research shows that 94% of millionaires live consistently below their means.
Many never even crossed a six-figure salary during their working lives. The most common jobs: engineers, teachers, and accountants.
Teachers, often labeled as underpaid, frequently accumulate surgeons because the profession doesn't dictate the wealth. The spending gap does.
Why is the car the ultimate separator? There are 3 core reasons. First is the sheer magnitude. After housing, the car is your biggest monthly drain.
$800 is more than most people save for their entire future. You can skip every latte and cancel every streaming service, but it won't fix the hole left by a massive car loan.
The car is the boulder, the coffee is a pebble, second is the duration. This isn't a one-time splurge.
It's a recurring tax on your life that lasts 72 to 84 months. Your brain gets used to the pain, and you start viewing it as a mandatory cost of living.
But it was a choice you made one Saturday at a dealership. Third is the social weight. No other purchase is so public.
Your car tells a story to your neighbors, co-workers, and strangers at the red light. Most people would rather look rich and be broke than look average and be wealthy. Marcus is trapped in this loop. Between the lease, high insurance premiums for luxury trim and premium fuel, he's spending 15% of his gross pay on a hunk of metal. Experts suggest keeping that number under 10. Sarah is at 4%. That annual difference is over $10,000.
Sarah feeds that $10,000 into index funds where it doubles every decade, while Marcus hands his to a leasing company.
The legendary researchers of the wealthy found a specific group they called frugal drivers. These were the millionaires who strictly bought used.
They had the highest net worth to income ratios in history. They weren't frugal because they were rich. They were rich because they were frugal.
The car wasn't a sacrifice, it was the engine of their wealth. Consider the icons. Warren Buffett famously drove a dented Cadillac he got for a discount.
The founder of IKEA drove a 20-year-old Volvo. Mark Zuckerberg is often seen in a basic hatchback.
To them, a car is just a tool to get from A to B. The moment it becomes a statement, it becomes a psychological liability.
You start making life decisions based on the opinions of people who don't care about you. Spending to look wealthy is the fastest way to stay poor.
Some might argue they need a reliable new car to avoid repair bills. Let's dismantle that. Data proves that brands like Toyota and Mazda are built to last 200,000 miles.
The 3-year-old certified pre-owned vehicle has already taken the biggest price hit, but still has years of warranty and peak reliability left. You aren't choosing between a luxury SUV and a rusted junker. You're choosing the sweet spot, a reliable 4-year-old car that costs $20,000 instead of $60,000.
A survey showed 35% of people think you need a $75,000 car to be rich. In reality, 90% of millionaires fail that test.
Let's look at one final lifetime comparison. Person buys a new $50,000 car every 6 years on a high-interest loan.
Over 30 years, they spend $250,000 on the cars alone. Person B buys a used car for $20,000, drives it for a decade, and repeats.
The lifetime savings for Person B is over $150,000 in raw cash.
But when you factor in the opportunity cost of investing the difference, Person B ends up with an extra $1 million in their portfolio.
That is why the wealthy drive boring cars. It's not about being a miser. It's about understanding the relentless math of compounding.
The car is an identity anchor. It tethers you to a specific image. Because we equate spending with success, the Porsche driver gets the wow, while the Honda driver gets ignored.
But the Honda driver is the one buying their freedom. The compliment economy is a trap. Every dollar spent to impress a stranger is a dollar stolen from your older self.
The truly wealthy are comfortable being unimpressive. They don't spend in anticipation of wealth. They wait until they actually have it.
Marcus is performing a future he is actively destroying. Every payment he sends out is a brick removed from the foundation of his real life.
Marcus is 34. If he traded that lease for a modest used car today and invested the difference, he'd have nearly $900,000 more by age 60.
Sarah is 47. She started this at 25. Her car fund alone is worth $400,000.
She will retire a decade earlier than Marcus. He will spend his 60s wondering where the money went, never realizing it was parked in his driveway for 30 years.
Your car isn't just a vehicle. It's your financial philosophy in physical form. It reveals if you prioritize the now or the forever. The most successful people saw this trap early.
They knew that a six-figure salary doesn't make you rich. The gap between what you make and what you spend does.
If you change your car, you often change your entire mindset. You start seeing the big rocks in your budget.
You stop letting lifestyle creep dictate your happiness. Once you move the car boulder, every other financial habit becomes easier to manage.
This trap exists at every age. In your 20s, it's the apartment. In your 30s, the car. In your 40s, the forever home. That's too big.
Each decade has a gatekeeper. If you can't pass the car test, you likely won't pass the others. Building wealth isn't about secret tips. It's about awareness.
It's knowing that every dollar has two prices, what it costs today and what it would have been worth in 30 years.
Sarah understood the cost. Marcus only understood the look. I want to hear from you. What was the best boring car you ever owned that helped you save?
Let us know in the comments below, and if this helped you see the math differently, please hit the like button and subscribe to Winds of Thought. Remember, the parking lot forgets your car the second you leave. Your bank account never forgets the deposit you didn't make.
Choose the life, not the impression.